Hello, everybody. Once again, I'm Lee McCracken Jr., aka Zorwell Channel Less Than Guru. We have Mars, the video cat, right here. And today I want to talk about how movement in Palladium, and this happens in any Palladium game, when you put it on a VTT or if you have battle map and you want to use battle maps for representation on a table, movement is going to be out of whack. And what I did to kind of fix the quote-unquote problem. So in Palladium, your movement, how far you can move, is based off of your speed attribute times 20 is your yards per minute, your yards per round. In Palladium First Edition, it is a minute. Okay, so if we look at this battle map, which I used for an ambush, I had the carts here as they were going along a road, and the party got ambushed. And the representation, if I look at the measuring tool, from one side of my map to the other is between 400 and 410 or so feet. So that is how much, not the distance. And so if we look at here, the little horses and wagons, the wagon, not including the horse, is a little over 10 feet long. That makes sense in my mind for the wagon, so that's how I scaled things. But when you look at somebody who has just a speed of 13, you take that times 20, and you're going to get 260 yards per round. And then if you break that up into feet, that's going to be 780 feet. So in one round, a character can go anywhere they want to on this map. Boom. They're here. Say that they're this guy, and they want to go here. Well, that's 366. So they're just going to run there because that's what it is in Palladium, which is really kind of, especially when you're going down corridors and stuff like that inside a dungeon, that speed attribute is really visually, when you use tabletops and grid maps, or this isn't even a grid map, it's just a distant map. If you use battle maps, you're going to find a problem in the game. So what I decided to do is say that speed is you're just running on a flat surface, you have no hindrances whatsoever, and you are going all out. So if somebody's trying to flee from a combat, that would be a good speed to use. But in combat, I consider everybody is trying to dodge, everybody is trying to weave around, everybody is trying not to get hit, and you're also going over obstacles, you're avoiding people that might have fallen, etc. You're going to be a little more cautious. So when I do battle, I have a kind of a battle movement, and I do it as your speed value, or in my case, my move value times 5 feet. So that same 13, instead of going the 780 feet, in combat specifically, I have it times 5, so therefore it would be 65 feet. So if we take this guy and bring him back where he should, it's going to take him a little while because it does an automatic thing on this VTT that I use. If he's going to go 65, that's going to be about a little bit between there and there. And why it keeps breaking is this character is a dwarf brawler, not the elf example. So he can only go 60 per round. So that's why it went from a green at 60, and then it goes red, meaning it's beyond his movement. But that is something that you might consider in your own game to limit the amount of movement. Also, when we look at ranges for short bows through crossbows, it can be anywhere from 480 to 800. So that person who could go 780, they can be at the very far range of a crossbow and make it, or barely miss making a melee attack if they run. If they just run and move their movement, they could get to anybody shooting them within range, within the exact same melee round. So that's another reason why I did it. I didn't lessen the ranges because I do think that those ranges are decent for using long bows and short bows. I think D&D and stuff that tend to have only 60 feet, I think that's a little short. So that way, a longbowman or somebody using, say, a crossbow can be on one side of the map, and then that gives them a reason to be a bowman, because if their opponent is on the other side of the map, and here we showed it was about 400 feet, they're going to be able to shoot. They're going to get multiple chances to shoot that person charging them, and that's a way that you want to use ranged weapons. Now, again, once you get into melee, those ranged weapons, I just say you can't do it in melee combat. If you want to do it like Legolas in the Lord of the Rings movie, that's fine. Or if you want to make that a special ability for your longbowmen or maybe your rangers, you can tack that on as a special ability. But I do like how they can have a chance, but then to shoot, and possibly multiple times to shoot. But when the opponent gets close, then they need to switch to a melee weapon. But that is something that I would heavily suggest looking at if you use a virtual tabletop with battle maps or battle maps on your real tabletop and you have distances in that. You will find out that movement, when you take that speed attribute or the movement derived attribute from physical prowess, which is what I suggested in one of the earlier episodes, they'll be the same base number, but that times 20 yards, so that's times 60 feet, really at a 13. We're not even talking something that for another attribute would get a bonus. A 13 is a slightly above the average and very attainable by elves and other light-footed races. It's gonna break your game. It will break your game. And as soon as I saw it, I tried to figure out, and this is the method I came up with, and it's worked for. Again, I've been play testing these rules for over 2 years, and it just has really helped out. So I wanted to use this as an example so you could visually see what I'm talking about. A map, and you can see these are really tiny. You have to really zoom in to get to the characters. It's a big battle map, a huge battle map, but they're able to go from one side to the other otherwise in one round. And that's just, why have a battle map if they can move everywhere and you're not getting tactical with it. So once again, I'm William McCracken Jr., aka Zorwal John, Less Than Guru. And until next time, I will catch you later.